gentlemen, and all variations thereof, and welcome back to the World of Madness SMP. Now, today I'm starting on a roof. There is no particular reason why well, there is a particular reason why I'm starting on a roof, but it's nothing related to this episode specifically. When I logged into the server, it was nighttime, and there were monsters nearby, so I couldn't sleep. So I walked out the front door to see a creeper sitting right here. So instead of doing that, I went up into my attic, and I made myself an alternative exit, which I should probably actually put a door here now. And there were creepers everywhere, so I just decided I'd fly over to that roof and actually not get myself exploded for a change. Anyway, today we are doing a few different things, but one of the main things that I would like to pull your attention to is what I've done in the Nether. Now, oh, there we go. Still getting used to Elytra. I don't use them all that much. Now, when we last left off in the Nether, I was working on the first section of the Nether tunnel, and since then, we've made a decent amount of progress. So, here we are. I've been hard at work gathering all the necessary materials for all of this, and placing in all of these archway pieces, digging out all of the netherrack and stuff. All of this, technically, is done. We still need to mine out the rest of the tunnel itself. This part is actually, I'll admit, I've been putting this off because it is all basalt and it takes a while to mine compared to netherrack, which just pops basically. So I'll admit I've been putting the mining operations for this off, in favor of building up the first section of the tunnel. But I do actually want to finish building up the first section of the tunnel, mainly because, well, every time I walk into the Nether, I immediately get fireballed by a ghast because there's no covering area over the bridge, and because of that, it's getting a little annoying having to replace various blocks as they get destroyed. So I want to finish getting the Nether tunnel built, which involves redstone, admittedly. I may have bitten off more than I can chew with this tunnel. But yeah, we'll be getting around to that eventually. Hopefully later on in this episode. Additionally, I also have a plan. I should probably put my boots and stuff back on. I also have a plan for a sword. A sword! For George. I gave the... I've already made the model for it, and I sent that off to Monkey a while back, and it is implemented in the game. Unfortunately, something went a little bit wrong with the implementation, where it means that the guard handle colors got swapped around. So, unfortunately, we're having to fix that before we can I say before we can actually use it. Before I'm willing to show it on camera, essentially. So, yeah. Other than that, today's main project is something that is probably on my project board. And I've run out of food. Where's the skeleton? Where's the skeleton? Let's see. Project board. Show me the project board. Here we go. Okay, so we're working on the Nether tunnel. We've done the super smelter. That can be pulled off. I'm tempted to start on the industrial docks because we've got sort of a plan there, but it's just been floating in midair for most of this, and it's a fairly large chunk of the harbour that we haven't done. So I think that's what we're gonna do today. So we're gonna possibly have a collaboration with George later on in the episode. But for now, we're gonna start on the industrial dock, and we're gonna end off the episode with some more work on the Nether tunnel. So in that case, we need materials. We need a lot of materials. So the industrial dock is over here. And as you can see, it is planned but unfinished. We need to do some terraforming to pull these cliffs and sand dunes back a bit. We need to finish off the full section of this quay or pier. And then over this side, we're going to build another pier, but we're going to have a big crane on it. And then we're going to build a cargo ship. Now, as you guys know, ships are not my forte, and we probably won't get all of this done in this episode, but I'd like to get a decent chunk of it done. So, first things first, let's go find ourselves some materials, and I will be right back. Ooh, look at that landing. You know when you decide to start a project, right? And then someone comes along and says, Oh, you remember that thing that I asked you to do? Yeah, I've done the other thing that you needed me to do the thing that you now need to do. Anyway, so a few weeks or months back, Lying, let's say, commissioned me to build a lumber mill. Oh, look, cat. And in that vein of things, I designed and constructed a lumber mill in a test world. And then I went to Lying and I said, hey, I can build it, but I need you to move the output of the lumber mill so that I can build it properly. And Lying went, yep, that's fine. I'll do that. And a month passed. And nothing happened. And another few months passed, and nothing happened. And eventually, we just sort of forgot about it. Until the other week, or a few weeks ago, when I went to Lying and said, hey, whatever happened with the lumber mill? Did you ever move the output? And Lying told me, what do you mean? What do you mean I moved the output? And I was like, I asked you to move the output, like 6 months ago. And, yeah, we'd both forgotten at that point. So Lying moved the output, finally, which means that instead of building an industrial dock today, we're building a lumber mill. And Lying just left the game. Anyway, yeah, today, instead of building an industrial dockyard, we are going to start construction finally after months of not having the stuff ready for it. We are going to construct a lumber mill for Lying in Bedmont. And I've gathered up the materials. Everything is ready. We are good to go. And I think we should do it in a third-person time-lapse. Let's get started, shall we? unexpected and albeit a little bit late project, it's done. It is done. It's mostly done, I should say. Hold on, let me put my boots on and we can go take a look at the sawmill, the lumber mill that Lying quote-unquote commissioned me for a while back. So this is the lumber mill. It is a 2-story technically building with a decent amount of storage space. Completely aesthetic, of course. Now, one of the things that I actually... Oh god, that ticking noise. I cannot tell you how much that ticking noise drove me insane when I was building this place. Oh god. Okay. So down here we have storage. Lying's done the storage down here. It's nothing fancy. I essentially built around that. We have bits and pieces that aren't really cleared up, but I doubt Lying will really care. Nobody's going to look down here. And I spent a good 2.5 hours building this, so I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out. Now, these walls were originally meant to have windows in them, and as you can see, we've also got like holes, as a matter of fact, in this side of the in this side of the wall, because the farm sticks out a little further than I thought it originally did. It's not great. I would like to adjust that, but I also know not to mess with another person's redstone, because it could all go horribly wrong. So I'm honestly going to leave that as it is. I'll also leave it up to Lying as to how they want to actually design the pathway down to the front door of the lumber mill. I'm not going to sort of dictate their design for them. That is completely up to them. So yeah. Honestly, I'm relatively happy with this. It looks decent. Despite the fact that there is a tree farm in it, it doesn't look out of place, which is nice. And just generally, I'm quite happy with how it's turned out. You can go over to Lying's channel to see their reaction to the finished build. I did want to, as I said, I did want to put glass in here, but after I built it, I noticed that because of the way that it's been built, there's a big hole in the roof. It looks decrepit, it looks old, it looks like it's been there for years, shut down and defunct, and it's slowly decayed over time. And I think that's sort of the goal that I was going for now that I look back at it. Like, you can see all of these bits and pieces in the roof where there's tiny gaps and everything. Like, half the walls are a little damaged and broken. You've got a lot of cobblestone here and there. You've got this massive hole in the roof that originally wasn't part of the design, but because of this structure, which I didn't realize at the time wasn't part of the blasting chamber that could be moved, I had to accommodate the tree growing area. So hopefully Lying won't have to make that hole too much bigger, depending on whether or not it works, but hopefully that should be fine. Regardless, ladies and gentlemen, now that we've got this done, unfortunately, I used most of the resources that I was going to use on the industrial docks on this. However, I do want to get started on the Nether tunnel, or not get started really, more like continue on with the Nether tunnel. Go. Hold on. I don't remember using crying obsidian on the corners of the portal. Oh well. Maybe it's... I'm sure it'll be fine. But yeah, so essentially, one of the things that Lying seems to have forgotten is that Lying has a portal up here, right? They have a portal just up there, right? And they seem to have forgotten that actually I have a portal down here that has a link up to the Nether tunnel system already. I watched their last episode and they completely missed that fact. So I'm going to very quickly... Do I have a hoe on me? Yes, I do. I'm going to very quickly clear this sort of few trees out of the way so that next time Lion comes through here, they can actually see the portal itself and the tunnel, so that they don't have to go flying through uncharted parts of the Nether to actually get to the main hub area. And I know it's sort of just over that way somewhere, but honestly, it makes life easier for... Woo! I'm good. It makes life easier for everyone. Me especially, but also for Lion, you know? Right, here we are. So this is our current progress on the Nether tunnel. And as you can see, I've managed to make a decent progress on the foundation. I'd say we're about a third of the way through the entire tunnel. But unfortunately, this next part of the tunnel is going to be a little harder to get through because it is all basalt and blackstone, which isn't great. However, I have been informed, or I have found out rather, that if we get a haste 2 beacon, we can insta-mine basalt, which is going to be very much required. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up this section of the Nether tunnel, or at least as far as these rings are concerned, and most of the outer parts, so like these big columns at the side, and then next episode, hopefully, we're going to go and look for a we're going to see about getting ourselves a beacon, yeah, we'll see about... I am drowning in smithing tables, literally drowning in them, and I don't say that lightly. Considering the amount of smithing tables that I actually need to build this Nether tunnel, yeah, I have a lot. And I'm fairly sure I'm going to need more. We've taken about 2 to 3 days of on and off grinding to get all of the resources that we need for the rest of the Nether tunnel. I don't think it's going to be enough, personally. I think we're still missing lamps, we're still missing pistons, we're still missing a variety of other bits and pieces, but we should have enough to do at least half of this current segment. So now that we have all of the resources in these 2 big chests here, we've got all the gold, redstone lamps, nether bricks, we've got all of the note blocks, smooth stone, all that sort of thing. I even went so far as to adjust the mechanisms for these side pieces, these side panels, so that they wouldn't use as many resources, so that I could actually get this out a little faster. But now that all of that's done, it is time to actually put together this time lapse, and I hope you all enjoy it, because it's taken a long time to get all of this stuff together, and the last episode of World of Madness was quite a long time ago at this point, but we've done a lot in this episode, and hopefully we'll be able to get this finished, or this section of the Nether tunnel finished as well, and then we can take a quick break and do something else. Maybe play a prank on someone. That might be fun. But yeah, I'm gonna start up this quick little time lapse, and we shall see how this turns out. And it'll be my first time seeing a fully built version or a fully built segment of this tunnel. So I think it'll look pretty interesting. Let's get started, shall we? Well, I was right on 2 counts. 1, I definitely do not have enough resources to actually finish this. I got halfway through. And then I ran out of smooth stone, which is not what I expected to run out of, in fairness. I expected to run out of lamps. Although, in fairness, I have also run out of lamps. And I've run out of pistons. And I've run out of note blocks. But I've got enough smithing tables. So there's that, I guess. Anyway, yeah, we managed to get about half of the tunnel section done. And what I did here was I built it up layer by layer because it was easier to remember rather than building it up segment by segment. So what a lot of people think is if you build it segment by segment, it'll be easier because you'll be building one section and then moving on to the next. Well, actually, in this instance, building it up layer by layer is actually easier. Because it means you don't have to use nearly as much scaffolding. And it also means that you only have to remember the first layer of each segment as you go. And it makes it a lot easier to actually remember the whole thing, and it's a lot easier to build. Now, obviously, we have these arches here. Those are going to be finished off as well. But those I put in earlier on when I was still working on some stuff down here. However, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we have just about run out of time for this episode. I do hope you all enjoyed this. It's been a little bit of a trip down memory lane today, and well, I hope that you found it enjoyable enough. For now, though, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for joining us this evening. Have a very good evening and a very, very good night. I hope to see you all in the next episode. Ta-ta for now.